Hey, welcome back to Shock Talking.
Every time we hit play, we are shocked. Because we don't know if the button gadget's going to work or not. Camille and Gretchen, we're glad y'all are with us again today. You know what? I think this is a merit thing to talk about as well.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about button pushing.
Yeah,
And I don't mean your gadget.
Not my
I
gadget.
mean people that are in relationships that say key phrases, key words to just get you going.
well, and typical things are you always and you never.
Mhm.
That offends most people.
Yeah.
Also accusing you of doing something you don't do.
Yep.
And then when you can't seem to get a word in edgewise or you're trying to explain yourself and it's like, you're not going to win. There's never, you're not going to be able to get out of that by communicating.
What about when people go, after they finish spewing, then they go, I'm done. I'm out of here. I'm
Oh.
done talking with this.
I love that. I totally understand that.
Right.
But then I'm not done.
Do you follow?
Oh, I harass. There is no sleep until I'm done. Just saying. It's not that bad.
Hath no
But-
fury, whatever that thing is.
Well,
But no, there's some truth about that because I think that's a domination that people
it
take.
is. It is.
You know, I will say and I will get out what I want to, and then I don't want to hear a word.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah, they don't want to hear
You
their
can't
feedback.
defend yourself. You can't
Right.
do anything.
Well, that's not communication.
No.
That's domination, and
Yes.
that's someone who's trying to bully you into, and they want to be right, and you're wrong, and you're not going to get out of that. Now,
Yeah.
someone that keeps you quote in the doghouse all the time, that they never let you win, and you're in a relationship where you just can't win no matter what you say or do.
Yeah.
You can say you're sorry. You can buy gifts. You can.
And they bring it up all the time. You remember when you did this, or yeah.
That person's probably keeping the distance between you for a reason. Yeah.
Oh, like they're guilty maybe of something?
Well, how comfortable is a whore in church?
I'm pretty no, I'm kidding. Just kidding.
So you got to think about the phenomenon of being guilty. You know, guilty people do weird things.
Yeah.
They're kind of
Yeah.
off, you know.
Yeah.
But if you do have something you're feeling bad about, you do create a distance with whatever you're feeling bad about. We don't like to go to the bank if we've robbed the bank before.
Yeah.
We don't want to go to church if we feel like a whore in church. So if you're in a relationship and you've done something with that, behind that person's back, you talked about it, maybe you flirted, maybe you talked to an ex or something, that's going to come up between you in the space, and that's not appropriate, but you don't want to have to deal with that. So you just kind of hold back.
Yeah.
You create distance that way.
Yeah. What about people that they continually put themselves in the guilty chamber? Maybe for something they've done a long time ago, they've already talked about it, they've already said I'm sorry, but they just don't feel, you know what, I'm not worthy to step up to a conversation because look what I did years ago.
You know, that person is afraid of having power. You know, if it genuinely is that if they're not playing a racket called poor me, feel sorry for me, I don't want to have to, you know, I'm Eeyore, you know, kind of thing. There's a game around that. That's manipulative. So, you know, don't call me on mine, I won't call you on yours, and don't try and be rigorous. You know, that's someone training you to treat them delicately because they're so, you know, guilt-ridden or broken. So there's that. If that's what we're talking about, you know, or if there's someone genuinely feeling bad about their past and they aren't really self-expressed, and they're always kind of letting people put them down, or they're the brunt of jokes and things like that, that is someone who really has a hard time with having power. Because when they had power, maybe they abused their power, or they witnessed someone abuse power growing up, and they said, I'm never going to be like that, so I'm going to be like this.
Yeah.
They don't want to, it occurs to them like it's harmful if they have power.
Well, and I think sometimes the word power scares people. Sometimes people think power means I'm going to dominate,
Abuse.
or I'm going to be, you know, the bully. Power to me is simply, first of all, knowing your own worth
Yeah.
and speaking up for yourself. And it doesn't have to be confrontational.
No. To me, it's freedom to be. It's freedom to be me, freedom to speak my mind, having, you know, being empowered. It's like an empowered state. It's just a kind of an attitude, or it's just kind of how you carry yourself, so that you are, you know, you can be rigorous people, but you're not a wilting flower.
Yeah.
You know, so you have an opinion, and your opinion matters.
And it matters. You said something in another podcast that, gosh, it just makes so much sense to me. You're not talking about people that are closely knitted, like a family member or a dear friend, but in general, just people in general passing by, 3 heartbeats later, you just don't care.
Yeah. Well, look, I mean, I've had people say things to me. You know, I have long hair and I'm over 40, okay? And some people think that over 40 we should just have our hair cut off and and just
Did you read all the rips for Kelly Ripa for wearing a bikini at 46 or whatever?
Well, I'm going, damn, girl, I'm jealous you're wearing a bikini at 46, right? I've been loving that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing but love for her.
And people coming off, I'm sorry to get on a tangent, but they do. I don't know who decided there's a rule book
Right?
on what you can and cannot do when
Over
you get
certain
past
ages.
a certain age. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So I had someone say to me about my long hair, I think you'd look really cute in a bob. And probably I would. But
Camille's like, well, hell yeah. Ball, bob, doesn't matter.
Thank you. I think so too. But that'll be when I'm a lot older.
Mhm.
She said, older? I'm like, yeah, a lot older. I'm not ready to cut my hair off yet.
Camille's like, I do not want that sensible hair on my head.
Well, I
You
just
know what
don't.
though? And here's the deal. Like that, there's a haircut that looks good on everybody.
I think so too.
There's one that looks good on everybody.
And if I find a better one, I'll be taking it. I will. I'll look at that.
She's gonna
But it's
have,
got to look better for me.
feathers and glitter and shit
Well,
all
maybe.
over it.
I'm gonna have the iridescent.
But the point is, you didn't let that affect you,
No.
right?
No, and I know that I look probably a little outrageous. I'm sure I do, and
And you're speaking in the
that's-
choir, girl. I got long hair and I'm 52.
that's okay with
I
me.
don't care.
Yeah, I don't
Right.
care. Well, I don't care either, but I don't know why anybody else cares.
Uh-huh.
They're not combing
Yeah.
it. They ain't brushing it.
And the truth is, when you want to get right down to whoever your significant other is, whether it's marriage or just
Yeah.
a relationship or whatever, man, you shouldn't even care what they think.
No, and I really don't. I don't ask permission.
No.
I do what I want.
Right.
And it's like, I guess, consider tattoos. I'm not going to go get a tattoo unless I really have something that permanently seems to alter my
Sticks,
life.
yeah.
And then maybe I would. But for me, I mean, some of the younger crowd, in my opinion, just get tattoos because it's cool or that it looks good. That's my long hair. It's like a statement.
I call them stickers. Where they just like randomly get things that don't necessarily mean anything.
doesn't have a
but they got a
significance.
spot. I think I'll stick it there. Yeah, but you know
No,
what?
I'm not judging that.
For me, like my long hair is significant because I went through so much trauma. I lost my hair.
Yeah.
And being able to put the hair back to me is a powerful message to me.
Yeah.
I don't really care if anybody likes it or not, but the truth of the matter is I will never have hair like this if I grew it myself.
Mm-hmm.
So why not go down to the Sally's and buy it and get it done in the day?
There's a reason.
Yeah. So for me, man, it's a message to me.
Yeah.
That I don't need somebody saying, you should just be your age.
Well,
Right?
what's that?
Or,
what does that mean?
But back in a relationship, I think sometimes people say things because they just want to hurt.
They do.
want to hurt that person, and what that message really, sometimes, you tell me if I'm wrong, but sometimes it could be like, I'm not ready to grow myself. I'm not ready to see the part of me that
Yeah.
needs to change in whatever capacity of area of life that is. So I'm just going to bring you down and make you feel like shit because I feel like shit.
Mhm, exactly. Well, and they're threatened by some empowerment you've got. I can't tell you how many wives I help, if they're being in an abusive situation, they go home and it's worse for them.
Yeah.
Because they got a little empowered that day, or they may have an attitude, their confidence came up. And they get told, I don't like that. You're not going to do that class again. You're not going to go back to that seminar. You're not going to talk to that lady anymore. Because there's a little bit of attitude, maybe. They got
And
a little
that
bit
means
of
change,
confidence.
or
It
they
means
got to
loss.
recognize, or they got to, yeah. And I think with a controlling
Loss
person,
of control, exactly.
Yeah, a controlling person like that, that's just it. They don't really care that you're growing and you're becoming your own voice or whatever. All they care about is, wait a second, my life is now shaken up because my control factor is unstable right now.
Well, and people that are controlling like that treat you like an object.
Yeah.
It's like, who
Yeah.
moved my couch? Like, my couch wasn't sitting there. What's going on? So
Right.
the change
Right.
is what it throws them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say, be careful with people like that you're married to, because you don't want to have someone go a little nutty on you. Marriages kind of join at a certain vibration together. You're vibrating the same vibe, so to speak, right? So you marry, you're compatible, you get together, and then people don't always grow the same pace or the same direction. So years go by, and some couples navigate those changes very well. Other couples just are vastly different, but they're together for one value system, and the value system might be children.
Right.
Or religion, or
Right.
money, So there's certain ways couples kind of get their own little thing going, their own little power. Maybe they have separate bedrooms. Maybe they have, a separate house. and they stay together. And those people tend to be healthier. But then there's some people that they do kind of, it's like Mexican crabs. You know what Mexican crabs are like? You can go to Mexico and these crabs are in a big, huge bowl, and they're not attended to. But they don't need to be, because one crab gets to the top, the other crabs pull it back down.
Yeah.
They'll never get out. So it's kind of like that inside of some marriages where they're competitive and that person's not allowed to grow too far or get too far to the left. And it's because, one person typically has an idea of what a wife is or what a husband is, and this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So
have you ever noticed like people that have some sort of a physical change? Maybe one of
lot
them
of weight
loses
loss.
weight,
Mhm.
and then all of a sudden the threat from the other partner is, wait a second, I don't want you getting attention.
Oh, yeah.
So now I want you back to the way you were. I want you to be miserable, unhealthy, and whatever their
Because they're not friends.
term of that is. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because now all of a sudden I got you just the way I want you.
Yeah, and I feel safe. I'm not worried about you leaving because you're not attractive enough to be, hit on or something like that.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah, and this is the kind of stuff, some couples, they build each other or they break each other.
Right.
And I want to have people be better because they know me.
And even in career positions, right? There could be a role where all of a sudden one is more successful financially than the other one. Okay, is that other one? And to me, those are determining factors of where's your love in this relationship.
Yeah.
Where is your unconditional support? Where are you valued as a person when you've got such restraints on you?
Yeah. And you look at power couples, and power couples really are self-contained. I was watching the Kennedys this last weekend, and what I watched was, Jackie, married to JFK, knew he was cheating, knew he'd been in, with other women and stuff. He hurt her many times.
Oh, their whole marriage.
Oh, yeah. And
Right.
so, I love her grace. But she was offered, when the whole war thing was coming up, and she said, you can go stay in a bunker. And she said, oh, no, I'm staying right here in the White House with my man. I would rather die with him than go be alone and have him die without me. So she was that devoted and that married. Like, she was still going to be that kind of wife, even if he wasn't that kind of husband. Now, and that takes some self-control. So
Right.
I know, it's impressive, right?
What was her motive?
I think she had her own self figured out, her identity. She knew who she was as a woman, and she knew who Jack really was, I think. So I think that there's a man in every boy, and I do believe that she stood for his greatness, frankly. That's what I think. They went through a lot. I mean, I watched that. I didn't know she had a baby that died. I didn't know, the family trials and traumas. I mean, there was so much that family went through.
Yeah.
And through those, really, look, couples don't become a great couple unless they go through some sort of trial together. Did you know that? When I see a young couple...
Well, okay, but clarify that, because you can go through a lot of shit and a lot of trials and you don't turn out as a great couple.
Well, you're right. It either makes or breaks you. But you won't get to the stage of being a power couple unless you go through something together and you grow from it.
And you both grow.
grow,
Yeah,
yeah,
not
exactly.
one is the victim and one
Right,
is the perpetrator or
right,
whatever.
exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. And it usually is somebody maybe has a health crisis, or maybe there is a betrayal, and the other person has to work through something with you.
Oh my gosh, y'all, I watched The Notebook by myself this weekend.
It's a tearjerker.
Oh my gosh, I was on the couch. I was just like, did the whole ugly cry face. But you know what? I mean, cute Noah.
I know.
Gosh, you know what?
But we all want Noah.
His desperation when she leaves mentally again, and he's like, God, just come back. I just can't imagine loving someone so much.
Yeah, that she sticks around.
And he sticks around in hope.
And cares for her constantly. I know.
Gosh.
I love it.
It's such a good movie.
Heartbreaking.
It's interesting because I'm at a stage of life. I've been single for 10 years from my ex-husband, and done the dating game somewhat, but my kids were more of a priority. So I wasn't really like, woohoo, I'm going to go to the club and go dating. It was just kind of, if it works out, I'll filter it in and out.
Yep.
I got to the point that I thought, you know what, if I never find that right person, because I wasn't really looking, but if that person doesn't show up, I'm okay.
Absolutely.
Like,
you're okay.
I was like, I'm okay. You know
Yeah.
what, I don't have to have someone fulfill me. I learned that a long time ago.
Well, men, women, we don't fulfill each other. We add to. We can.
Yeah, so that stupid line, you fulfill me.
Complete me. Yeah.
No, y'all, that don't fall into that.
Younger couples, when they're girls and boys, I think that's critical. But as we get older and we age and we mature, women, men, we aren't needy.
No.
We don't have that need, you know.
Well, and you know what? The truth of the matter is, the older you get, the wiser you get. You realize you can't depend on another human being to make you happy, right?
Doesn't work.
Because we are humans and we disappoint.
Oh.
It's just our nature because we're not perfect people.
Yeah.
So if I'm counting on, you know, even if it's in a friendship or whatever, and all of a sudden that person didn't say the right thing or look the right way or give me the right look or didn't read my mind, I'm disappointed.
Well,
why set yourself up?
And I tell people, lower your standards. I know that sounds crazy, but if you're, some couples, I mean, they're married, they've got bills together, they've got kids together, they've got whatever together, and they are heavily invested in this relationship working.
Yeah.
But they've got these ideas of it's supposed to be a certain way. I tell them, you need to lower that standard, because that standard put upon him or her is not helping.
Yeah.
And maybe you need to get to know your partner really in the present time. You know, people interact with each other like their memory of them. You know, so you know, that's where the story of, you know, people keep each other in their story or in their past. You know, I know what you're going to do. I know what you're going to think. That's another thing. That's another fire starter.
Oh.
Is, now I know what you'll say with this.
I know what you're
I know
thinking.
what you're thinking. Yeah.
You're going to say this. You think this.
You've been doing this before.
Oh, that is a button pusher for me, and not from a relationship, but from growing up.
Absolutely.
I was always told what I was thinking, but I was too respectful, you know, to say, no, that's not true. I mean, I just listened to it.
Yeah.
So nowadays, that's a button pusher when somebody goes, I already know what you're thinking, or I know what you're going to say. No, you don't.
No, exactly.
No,
I have
no,
my
no.
own mind, my own opinion, and see me newly every day. But if you keep people in their smallness or in their past, they don't have emotional air around you. They can't breathe.
Yeah.
And people, you know, why some couples end is because they can't be self-expressed. They've changed, they're growing, and they want to share. They want to bring something in, but there's just no listening.
Yeah.
Their listening is for the past. Like,
so, and if you think about it, when, you know, maybe women go do, say, bunco, and men go do softball tournaments with the
drag
guys.
racing or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's a venue, and it's not unhealthy.
No.
Or it doesn't have to be, but it could be. But that is a way to go, like, I need to be around a group of people, a circle of people that accept me, that hear me or not hear me.
That's right. That's right.
But accept me.
Well, and I think couples have to have separate lives.
Yes.
So it's not just all of them constantly together.
I know one thing, like with Kelly and I, so my guy lives in Canada, and when I don't hear from him for a certain amount of time at night, I know he's doing his alone time.
Yeah, he's doing his thing. Yeah.
And that, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Man, I love my alone time too. Or I know he fell asleep, and he'll text the next morning, I'm so sorry I fell asleep. I said, don't be sorry.
No big deal.
It's
Yeah,
I'm not that needy. You know what?
No.
I'm good. I got my ice cream and my Netflix. I'm good.
You're still watching your parole or what?
I have finished, y'all. I have finished Locked Up.
Oh my God, it's hilarious you're watching that.
I'm texting Camille. I'm like, they have orange jumpsuits at this prison.
This is what's going
This
on.
one. Oh, listen. You want to talk about getting some shit done?
Sorry.
I'm diverting right now. There's a drug problem coming in and out of our prisons through the mail. You know what my solution is?
How the hell are they doing that?
Don't let them have mail.
Agreed.
They are in prison. There's a problem with contrabands being stored in their little mattresses. You know what my solution is?
No mattress.
Don't give them a mattress, right? There are razor blades being stolen from the razors that they're allowed. Don't give them razors. Yo, this is not rocket science. I call and text me. I'm like, this is what they're doing. There's a pedophile in there that needs protection. Bullshit. Put him in the yard and just let whatever's going to happen.
Yeah, I got the same kind of sentiment. Yeah. Well, there's a reason why pedophiles don't last long in prison.
I think that's a good reason.
I kind of think so too.
Right.
I think that's where some men take care of that problem.
Yeah.
Too bad it can't happen out here a little bit. Sorry, but yeah. And, you know, I've talked to SWAT and men that are on some of these, you know, I don't want to get into this subject, but but they do say the hardest thing about, you know, finding these kids or finding these women or girls is they can't kill those monsters. They can't kill them.
Yeah.
They got to turn them over to authorities when they just want it. They have them. They could. They can't. So that's the hardest thing.
This one dude, he had been transferred to several different prisons because he was afraid of his own protection, right? And so he kept misbehaving, so he would be put in solitary confinement or whatever they called it. And he knew the system. And the system has their laws and their rules, and they had to abide by it.
Right.
So what did he do? He ate by himself. But he would do naughty things to antagonize the other prisoners, and he would vocally yell out what he did to children.
Oh, man. And so they kept him isolated because of that?
No, they kept him isolated for other reasons, because he had to be protected. But just as a button pusher, so to say.
Instigator. Instigator, yeah.
He would shout out what he did to children.
Unbelievable.
Right?
I think he wants to get killed. You do this something like that, you're going to get yourself killed.
And I say, just let it happen.
Well, me too.
You know what? They talk about, y'all, we are so diverting, but I can't help it. They talk about
not have brought up that
I know, do not get me started in prison. The amount of guards versus the amount of inmates, and it's such a diverse number.
Yeah, it's like, 14 and 200?
200 and something. Yeah, and the
It's
ridiculous thing, that the most fearful time is when they have their yard time. They're outside, right? So what do the guards have? Y'all, they have pepper spray. Here's what I think. You got guards in towers with guns. If they misbehave, you shoot something.
You wing them.
Yeah, or you shoot right by them, but you let them know, hey, I'm going to use this gun.
I'm watching you.
You're not going to get away with stuff, and know that there's one in every 200 prisoners that's got pepper spray.
Oh, my hell.
Gosh.
That's nothing.
Really?
How are they?
Really?
That doesn't seem right.
It's not right. Listen, I
wonder if this documentary was done just to enlighten the world on how things need to change.
I've been enlightened.
We got to keep enlightening. So.
Okay, we'll do that
Let's
another
get back
time.
to
just wrapping up. So, Camille, as a relationship therapist, what do you tell people? You know, they don't want to get divorced, or they don't want to leave their significant other. They're in a committed relationship. Maybe they don't want to leave, not because they love that person, but that's their security. That's what they know. But they're stuck living in a situation where it is unhappy because of button pushing. What do you tell them?
You've got to desensitize your buttons. You've got to figure out that this person is intentionally trying to offend, wound, hurt, suppress, break you, piss off, anger. We'll get a reaction. Now, and I'll tell you, once a person, when I locate someone like that, when I can tell someone's
she's got it, you back off.
It just incenses me that someone's intentionally trying to tip me upside down and upset me. I look at him and I'm like, really? And that actually stops all reaction for me. I don't go down that rabbit hole. I look at that person and say, domination game, really? And I'll play it better than anybody else. So I won't let myself get dominated. I don't get upset. I know it's intended to throw me off their scent.
And the truth of the matter is, y'all, who's ever throwing out those buttons, they've been doing it for long enough to know that's what pisses you off. So when you play back the game and go, you know what, you are not going to treat or talk or act that way around me. I'm not going to stand for it.
Right.
It's in their ballpark right now.
That's right. Well, you don't react.
You've set up the rules, you set up the wall, and you go, this is me.
Well, and people that they tend to be critical or nasty, and I think I told you that there was some definitions we were looking up when I was a Covey trainer about original definitions, and the one word I always remember was the definition of Satan. And the definition of Satan, y'all, was accuser. And I'll never forget that. It's like, wow, that's kind of interesting. Because I do think people that try to upset other people are gaslighting them. They're accusing them of crap that isn't real. And then they share with the world, this person's this. But that to me is someone that's so uncomfortable with something they've done. And they're trying to gaslight you and get you off their scent because they're up to something. I mean, how comfortable is a whore in church? Right? I mean, think about it.
She's looking at me,
looking at you.
You know what though? But you think about, and we've talked about this. We've talked about pedophiles. We've talked about suppressive people. We've talked about people that they have the same patterns.
They do.
And the same.
And they're never accountable. It's never their fault.
There's a justification for everything they do, think, feel, act, say, whatever.
Right. And it's someone else's fault.
If I'm going to keep bringing up, well, remember, this is what you did.
Yeah.
And you always.
And you
I know what you're thinking. Man, that's diverting attention. So what you need to do is be aware of these red flags.
Yeah.
You know, when somebody has that motive is to stop you.
Yep.
Stop you. And I've got the power. the definition of power is not love. They don't go together.
No.
They do not go
Domination. And there's abuse of power, and then there's empowerment of a self.
Sure.
Like you want to be self-expressed and free to be and free to act and free to speak. You know, when you can be free, by the way, that's the definition of love to me, is complete freedom, that you give people complete freedom to be themselves.
Yeah.
Complete acceptance to be whoever they are, that you accept them without judgment. That's love to me. That's that active form of love to me.
Except don't fart around me.
Well,
Other than that, I'm good.
we don't want...
No, but you're right, because you've allowed, by saying it that way, you've allowed them to be who they are and grow to whoever they are, right?
That's right.
Instead of saying, here is my list of what I think you need to be, and I'm going to be happy with you if you meet my list.
Yeah, because I have an idea of what a husband or a wife or a girlfriend
Our
or boyfriend...
parenting, we do that to our kids.
Yeah, I have expectations of you. Now, here's a guaranteed way to get upset. Have expectations of other people. When they're unmet, you get upset. That's just 101 psychology, okay?
Yep.
So you can't have expectations of people and put them on them, and then when they fail you, you're mad or upset.
Right.
It's just
and we're
ridiculous.
not talking about, like, you know, please don't pull a gun on 7-Eleven.
No.
We're talking about, you know,
The
like
unspoken expectations.
One of my big pet peeves is really bad grammar. It just drives me crazy. There's a T-O and a T-O-O, right? And so when I read a text and it's not written right, I'm telling myself, maybe it is voice texting. Maybe they don't understand. And that is
She's
just...
talking about me.
No,
I know.
I'm not. Actually, I'm not.
My kids.
But
I say the weirdest shit.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like...
Surrey screws me up.
Surrey does not understand my
Sorry.
accent. And I read it back and I just go, that is... Bitch, I don't know what I said. But you know what? I mean, seriously, that has been something that I go, okay, I'm 52. I'm going to have to let that one go.
You're going to let it go. Well, and look, Einstein was a terrible speller. That's just true. And there's a lot of different ways to spell things. You know, especially with the world of texting. I do that. I'm famous
I know.
R, you.
I guess I just, like, intelligence is so high on my list.
Yeah.
You know, and just because somebody doesn't spell it right doesn't mean they're not intelligent. Like,
Correct.
I know I've told myself for all these years being single, like, that is so important to me. But man, it's like, okay, when it gets right down to it, would I rather have this or this?
Yeah, would you have the character, street smarts? I could get past the spelling issue in a day.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We are. Okay, so bottom line message for people that want to find their boundaries, that want to
Their
be
balance.
their voice, but still have peace in their relationship.
Well, a lot of it is quit taking so much personal. You know, that's one thing is don't take it all so personal. And you've got to define yourself. You can't be defined by anyone or anything, not even your spouse. So you get to define who you really are and what you want to speak and say. And if you have an expression you want to be self-expressed some way, be that, do that. Don't let anybody stop you.
Yeah.
You know?
Because what happens is when you hold back and you aren't authentic to who you are or how you feel, you resent that person.
Right.
And then you resent yourself and you've got a bad cycle going.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? I'm not saying bulldoze somebody over with the new you.
No.
But start self-analyzing. What do I really feel? Or what do I really think? Or, you know, whatever that is. And don't be afraid to say it.
Well, and with a couple that's been together for a long time, you want to continue to kind of shock and awe a little bit. I mean, you still want to re-educate people on who you really are.
Yeah.
We are not stagnant. Human beings are constantly evolving and changing. So I think people have to accept that. And the happiest couples accept each other. Wrinkles, chubby, saggy boobs, and all. You know, gray pubes and all. So that it just isn't about the looks. It's about accepting that person and having them feel self-expressed with you.
Yeah, and if they do decide to make a change, pink hair or whatever that is, man, love them through that.
Accept 'em.
Maybe it's a phase, just like you would your kids, you know?
Totally accept
Your
'em.
kids get some crazy piercing or a tattoo or decide to smoke a cigarette or whatever, man, you don't stop loving them.
Nope, not at all.
Okay.
We love you.
Shock talking got real. And don't judge me on my prison stuff. Please don't share this with prisoners who send me hate mail.
Oh, yeah. Or
Right?
pictures.
Don't have them call their gang people and come after me and my children. Go get Camille, but don't. No, I'm teasing. I'm
We
teasing.
know we don't care if pedophiles like us at all. They
No,
can hate
hell
my
no.
guts.
No, we
I don't
got
give a
2
shit.
guns right here for you for that one, buddy. Or girl, whatever. Okay, y'all. Thanks for being with us. Shock Talking will be back another time.